Hi. Well, it's a beautiful day as always, though it's cold and cloudy. And today I want to talk about expectations. Now, expectations, generally speaking, mean that you expect the world or people in the world to be a certain way. Kind of like modeling. You make a model in your head of what the world's supposed to be like. But expectations mostly refer to people. So that's what we're going to go over today. Now, let's say you have a son, and he, being a son, wants to please you. And you say, I want you to be a doctor. And he grows up with this idea in his head that you put there of being a doctor. But then slowly over time, things change for him, and he decides he wants to be a rock musician, okay? Or whatever, but not a doctor. And so you have conflict. You're upset because he doesn't want to be a doctor, even though you wanted him to be a doctor, okay? You had an expectation of him becoming a doctor, which means suffering. Because you're suffering because he's not going to be a doctor, okay? And he's suffering because he doesn't want you to be mad at him. But you are mad at him because you're not doing what he wanted you to do. Or let's say that you expect people to be nice to you. And when they aren't, then that's a problem. Okay, because not everybody's going to be nice to you. That's just the way it is. Or you expect that your life is going to turn out a certain way, and it doesn't. But where real suffering comes in, or one of the ways real suffering comes in, is when you put your expectations on other people, like the doctor trying to make his son become a doctor too. Okay? Now, how do we drop this expectation from our lives? By letting it go. By accepting the world is as it is. Okay? By accepting what is. Okay? And that it's not going to be the way you want it to be. Because that's just the way it is. Okay? Now, another part about expectations is, you're living your life and something happens that wasn't expected, and that brings you human suffering. Okay? The reason I say human suffering and not just suffering is because humans are the only ones who have suffering. Okay? And as such, it's kind of a problem. So, you have an expectation that the world is going to go the way you want it to. And it doesn't, because that's what always happens. Okay? Whether it's your relatives who didn't do what you thought they were going to do, or some other thing. And this causes you suffering. Okay? And what I really want to do in this life is to ameliorate suffering. Now, another thing about expectations is that you expect the world to be comfortable. Comfort. Which is a good thing, I suppose. But if it's not comfortable, if you're uncomfortable, then you're going to feel suffering. What is comfort? Comfort is everything's right. The pillow under your ass is comfortable. You're in a comfortable place where there's heat or air conditioning or whatever it is. But it's also that you have a cigarette to smoke if you're addicted to cigarettes, or a soda pop to drink if you're addicted to soda pops. Okay? Or pot to smoke or heroin to take, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you are addicted to makes you comfortable. And that's a trap, because we're not put on this earth to be comfortable. We're put on this earth to be challenged. Okay? And whatever comfortableness you seek, you're gonna be challenged. Okay? So trying to make the world comfortable is going to lead to human suffering. So let's say you're a man or a woman, okay, who has a house and everything is comfortable in that house. Okay? Now, something happens. And suddenly, the bank takes your house. Okay? And you're on the street. And trying to find a house in this economy is just, forget it. You can't do it. Okay? So, and trying to find an apartment is just as hard. So now you're not comfortable anymore. And so you're experiencing suffering. Now, in a way, uncomfortableness is, like I said, something that we all have to deal with. But if you stake your happiness on being comfortable, okay? Now, most people don't even have happiness. Let's say you stake your life, okay, on being comfortable, you will experience suffering. And that suffering will spread. When you experience suffering, that suffering isn't just you. It's going to spread around to everybody. Now, let's say you're now homeless. You're living on the street. And because you don't have a house, you lose your job. And so not only do you not have comfort anymore, but you don't have income. Okay? And that makes you even more uncomfortable. And you start to feel hopeless because you don't have comfort and you don't have income. Okay? Now, I've experienced being homeless. It wasn't great. Okay? I wasn't awakened at that time. So I experienced uncomfortableness and hopelessness. Okay? But I got through it. And as you can see, I have a house. And so everything's okay. But if a meteorite hit this house and killed everyone I knew who lived here, okay, and I was now homeless again, I wouldn't be unhappy. I wouldn't be uncomfortable, because my happiness and my comfort comes from the inner dimension. Okay? That place where you can receive love, God's love, peace, the peace that passeth understanding, and joy. And if you've got that, then nothing is going to make you feel unhappy, because you can always just dip into it and you're good. Okay? Anyway. So the lesson is, don't expect that you're going to be comfortable. And don't expect that other people are going to do what you want them to do, because they're not going to. People are here to teach us. People are here to instruct us in the ways of the ever-changing world. The world is going to change, and you are going to change along with it. And if you don't accept that, okay, you're going to experience suffering. So, let go of comfort. I know comfort's great, isn't it? Let go of your expectations about the world, okay? By accepting the change. Change is coming, okay? No matter what it is or where it comes from, the change is coming, okay? And you are in its path. And if you don't accept the change, then you're going to experience suffering, okay? Well, I look at the clock on the wall and I guess my time is up. I love you all because you're me and I'm you. We are all one. I know that's a hard thing to understand, but it's true. Just accept that it's true. Now, if you have any questions or comments about what I've said, please leave them in the comments section so that I can answer them. Okay? If you don't understand something I've said, please let me know about that too. And if enough people leave comments or questions about this, I'll make a video about it. All right, well, have a great life.